Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Dvipika Garg, and today we are bringing to you the ninth test series. Yes, we have successfully completed 8 test series, and along with that, lot many lectures. So, yes, this is just the beginning. Okay, there's a lot more coming up. I hope you all have appreciated and liked the properties of arch wires. Okay, that was one topic which was really important. And yes, thank you everybody for such great reviews on all the video lectures, especially safety valve, lasers. And I'm very happy that all of you are attempting test series along with me because from all your comments, I can make out that yes, you all are scoring really well and you're doing it. That is very, very important. Yes, and a little more information for you people that latest editions of Pulse, Gauri Shankar, and all these textbooks have come up. So I want you people to buy the latest editions and work on them because, as I have been telling you in all my videos, that image based and patient based questions are raging. So, yes, now those questions have been included in the new textbooks which have come up. So, yes, it is very important to do that. And all the students who got back to me and told that after listening to the videos, you all have started attempting 500 questions daily. Kudos to all of you. You are on the right track. Studying your theory is important, obviously, but attempting a lot of MCQs is also very important, right? And that is why I'm telling you people to get the latest editions because in the previous editions, image based questions and patient based questions are not really emphasized much upon. But yes, now they are emphasizing a lot on it. So you need to get the latest editions. Yes, those who are not able to purchase the latest edition, that is okay because I have given up a lot of lectures on image based and patient based questions. So you can always go through my lectures. But yes, for other subjects, you will have to buy the textbook. Okay, for ortho, don't worry, I'll be covering because all my questions are handpicked, and they are all image based, patient based, and the general questions as well. For those of you who do not know the first three set of lectures which were uploaded on my YouTube channel were all image based questions. So, yes, students, go back to those and attempt it. And let me just recapitulate the same thing for you people. 240 set of questions, each correct response 4 marks. Incorrect -1, unattempted 0. Okay, so yes, it is very important because now is very high time that you people get your priorities right because you know your target. You have to hit the target. NEET MDS exam is approaching. So yes, you have to be very thorough with the preparations now. If you're a BDS student, okay, fine, excellent. If you get to watch these videos, you'll be very much thorough with in orthodontics at this level itself. If you are an orthodontic resident, I am sure a lot of videos were very, very helpful for you people. But yes, this is quite, exclusively for entrance examinations. So yes, image-based and patient-based questions are the latest advancements which have come up. And yes, you have to be prepared, not unprepared. So yes, we have cut off these things. There's nothing like unprepared. You have to go to the exam very, very well prepared so that you can, attempt all the questions very properly. Okay, so let us move to the very first question of the ninth test series. The very first question for this series is the type of movement usually produced by a removable appliance. So yes, it is a removable appliance which were in quite a very good use previously, but now we have come up with a fixed appliance therapy because removable appliances can only bring about tipping. Tipping means crown movement. Tipping can be of two types, controlled tipping and uncontrolled tipping. Okay, torque means root movement. Movement of root means torque. Rotation, rotation we all know mesiodistally the tooth can rotate. Bodily movement is also known as translation. So yes, if you have seen the previous videos, you know the moment to force ratio concept. You know when the moment to force ratio is more than 12, what happens? When it is between 7 to 10, what kind of tooth movement is brought about? In case you still don't know that, please go back to the previous videos and watch it. So yes, removable appliances brings about tipping kind of tooth movement, which is not always desirable because we need to have these three kind of tooth movements as well. So therefore, we will go in for fixed appliance therapy. Next question. Anterior teeth are most likely to be fractured in children with which of the following mixed dentition malocclusion? I think we have covered this question earlier. Extremely simple. In case of class 2, division 1, the teeth are proclined outwards, therefore, it is very likely to get fractured in children. Okay, yes. Students, in this particular series, I have not highlighted the correct answer. Okay. So, yes, I'll give you some time from the next question onwards so that even you can think and then we can attempt it together. Okay, so I won't be very quick. I'll go a little slow so that you get time to analyze each and every option and you can attempt it because I will not be highlighting any of the answers now. Okay, yeah. So next question. What diagnosis will be found when the lateral cephalometric tracing was finished? So we have a lateral cephalogram and we have traced it. So what diagnosis do we get? All are related. Okay. Skeletal pattern, dental base length, soft tissue or dental factors. So do we get skeletal pattern from cephalometry? Yes. Do we get the base of the length of the dental base? Yes, we do. Soft tissue analysis? Yes, it is done. Dental factors are taken into consideration? Yes, they are. So the correct option is yes, the option is A. All are related, meaning they are all related to lateral cephalogram. Okay. Next question. The deepest point on the concavity of the mandibular profile between the point of chin and the alveolar crest. Okay, read the question again. Let me highlight it. Deepest point on the concavity. Okay, and now we are talking about mandible. Deepest point of concavity in the mandible between chin and alveolar crest. Is it point B, point A, point N, or point S? So yes, take 2 minutes and think. The correct answer is point B. Remember we did point A, point B in lateral cephalogram. So point B is the deepest point of concavity in the mandibular profile between the chin and alveolar crest. Okay, so yes, when we have covered the lecture of cephalometry, I have told you you need not mug up the definition of each and everything. But yes, you should know it. Mugging up is not required because they'll be giving you a definition and you have to identify which point is it. You will not have to write down the definitions because these are all MCQ questions, right? So yes, but you should be knowing it. And supplementary three parts have been covered for you people. First was basic, second part, and third, first and second part. They have been added separately on my YouTube channel. In the first part, we have covered all the basics. So students, kindly go back to my previous videos and have a look. Simply do not keep attempting just the MCQs. All my MCQs are based on the previous lectures which have been uploaded. Okay, moving on to the next question. So yes, the correct answer is option A, that is B point. The deepest point on the maxillary profile between anterior nasal spine and the alveolar crest. That was deepest point in mandible. This is deepest point in maxilla. So I think the hint is very clear. Is it point A, point B, point basion, or point sella? Correct answer is yes, it is point A. Okay, so option A is correct over here. That is point A is the deepest point on the maxillary profile. Next question. A and B is used to assess. We did SNA, SNB, SN, and A and B. These were all part of Steiner's analysis. So A and B is used to assess what? Sagittal jaw discrepancy, vertical jaw discrepancy. Sorry for the incorrect spelling. Next, the soft tissue profile, or is it the dental pattern? Okay, so yes, take your time, analyze this question yourself, and attempt it. Attempt it. What am I planning that I will not answer this question directly for you people. I'll just keep the answer on hold and I'll give you the answer later on. So yes, students, if you are along with me right now, I hope you have a pen and paper in your hand and you are attempting these questions along with me. So yes, if suppose this is question number 5, which question number is it? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your sixth question. So yes, write down question number 6 and write down the answer ahead. I will tell you the answer later on. Moving on to the seventh question. The maxillary plane was represented by a line drawn from. In test series 8, I have explained you about maxillary plane, palatal plane, and everything. So yes, maxillary plane is represented by what? ANS to PNS, ANS to chorion, PNS to orbital, or PNS to gonion? I'm sure you people will take a little time in attempting this. So let me not put up the answer for you people. Think and just write it down. I'll tell you the answer at the end of the series. Maxillary plane. A little hint for you people. Maxillary plane is also known as palatal plane. So I hope this hint has helped, and now you know the answer without actually going through the other answers. So maxillary plane is also known as your palatal plane. I'm not telling you the answer. I'll let you know at the end of the series. Next question: the most inferior point on the margin of the orbit. So yes, when we have a lateral cephalograph, we mark the orbit in this particular manner, and the most inferior point in the orbit is known as your orbital. So orbital point is the most inferior point on the margin of the orbit. So yes, students, there are a lot of questions from cephalometry in this particular series. So I want you people to go back to the basics of cephalometry video which have been uploaded on my YouTube channel and go through that particular video again so that this thing becomes very easy for you people. Okay. Next question. The highest point on the bony external auditory meatus. External auditory meatus. The highest point is my porion. And orbital to porion gives me Frankfurt horizontal plane. Okay, so yes, the highest point on the bony external auditory meatus is my porion. So yes, with that we end the series, and let me tell you that for this entire series, the correct option for all the questions was option A, right? So the two things which we left behind, that one was A and B angle. So yes, A and B angle, which is given by Steeners, is used to as a sagittal jaw discrepancy. Okay, so the correct answer is A, sagittal jaw discrepancy. The next question which I left for you people was maxillary plane, also known as palatal plane, was represented by ANS to PNS. Okay, and on purpose, I have not given you figures in this particular test series because this was more of a test series, where you are not attempting actually along with me, you are attempting it yourself, and then I'm giving you the correct answer. So I didn't want it really to give you all the hints and pictures because explanation for these particular topics is already done earlier. So yes, this was not for explanation. This was actually a very tough test series for you people. Most inferior point on orbit of margin, orbital. Highest point on external auditory meatus is my porion. So yes, students, this was your ninth test series. I hope you all have liked it, enjoyed it. And if there is any question which is of, not clear to you people, please get back to me in the comment section below. Let me just quickly revise it for you people. Removable appliance always bring about tipping type of tooth movement. It is very important for you people to know the moment to force ratio for tipping, torquing, translation, which have been covered in the previous videos. Class 2 Division 1, the basic clinical features are convex profile, intraorally. You will see flaring of teeth. In Class 2 Division 1, my anterior teeth are flared ahead. So when the teeth are flared, there are more chances of fracture if a child falls. Okay, if the child falls while playing, if anything hits, because my anterior teeth are flared, there is no lip seal, they are visible, there are very high chances of getting fractured. Class 2 Division 2, there is deep bite and there are retrocline, no fracture scenes. Class 3, my maxillary anterior teeth are already behind, so no. Class 1 what? Class 1 what? Like crowding is there, spacing is there, it is not clear. So yes, it is Class 2 Division 1. And lateral cephalograms is a combination of skeletal, dental, soft tissue analysis, right? So everything is related to each other. There are skeletal parameters, dental parameters, and soft tissue parameters in lateral cephalogram. Yes, A point and B point, they are two deepest point in maxilla and mandible. So yes, this is their definition. And A and B, S and B, A and B have told you, maxillary plane is also known as palatal plane, represented by anterior nasal spine and posterior nasal spine. Inferior most on the orbit is orbital, on the external auditory meatus, that is your ear, is your porion. So yes, and all the options as told were option A. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this one. Okay, and yes, all the very best for your preparations. We have few more lectures lined up for you people before we start with any other set of MCQs. Yes, if there is any question, write down it on the comment section below. If you want me to cover any topic first, do let me know. And yes, I am in touch with all the students who are actually preparing along with me. And yes, all their doubts are taken into consideration. The topics which they are telling are, covered first. And let me just tell you a few tips for your NEET MBS examinations. The very first thing, go through your textbooks. The standard textbooks have to be referred. Attempt 500 questions daily. 500 MCQs have to be solved daily so that all the textbooks which you have purchased, like Pulse, Gauri Shankar, Bhatia, whatever, you are able to complete those textbooks twice or thrice before you sit for your exams. Why? Because revision is of utmost importance. Okay, so make a timetable for yourself in such a manner you get adequate time for revision. Okay, so only if you solve 500 set of MCQs daily, you will be actually able to finish off your syllabus and the books which you have. Okay, otherwise you'll be left behind. Okay, you do not want to waste 1 year and sit back again for your exams. You have to clear the exams at the very first go. So examinations and your preparations have to be really, really thorough. Okay. So yes, if there is anything I can be of any help, do let me know. And any other topic to be covered, just get back to me. And yes, do subscribe to the channel because if you do not subscribe, you will not get notification if I am uploading anything special. Okay, so yes, your exams are scheduled as per the schedule. So I hope you have a timetable ready. You are going as per your own schedule. And yes, that's it. So all the best, good luck, have a great day, and keep your preparations going on. Thank you very much.